there are 4 Vedas, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, and the Atharva Veda. Each of them have numerous branches or shakhas. Altogether, all the 4 Vedas put together have 1,180 shakhas, at least originally. And each of them at the end had one Upanishad. However, many of the shakhas have been lost, and today we have only about 200 of them. And of these 200 Upanishads, about 108 are popular. Of these, about 10 are generally studied because we have the commentaries by the great masters like Adi Shankaracharya, Madhvacharya, and so on. The Upanishad that we are going to study today, the Taittiriya Upanishad, comes from the Yajur Veda. The Yajur Veda has got 2 schools called Shukla Yajur Veda, or the white school, and Krishna Yajur Veda. This Upanishad comes from the Taittiriya Shaka of the Krishna Yajur Veda. The Taittiriya Shaka itself has got 10 chapters. In the first chapter, you have that mantra that you chant during Surya Namaskara. The first 6 mantras deal with Upasana and Karma Yoga. It is the last 4 that deal with the philosophical part, which become the Upanishads. So the last 4 together are called the Taittiriya Upanishad. However, Shankaracharya has commented only on 7, 8, and 9, and not on 10. So the 10th one is now a separate Upanishad called the Mahanarayana Upanishad. The 7th is the Sheekshavalli, the 8th is the Brahmanandavalli, and the 9th is the Bhriguvalli. Adi Shankaracharya has given a brilliant commentary on the Taittiriya Upanishad. And when he was commenting on the Brahma Sutras, he has referred to the Taittiriya Upanishad 147 times. That is the amount of references he has given to Taittiriya Upanishad during his Brahma Sutra commentary. And in his introduction to the Taittiriya commentary, he said, freedom is hidden and kept in this Upanishad. This Upanishad is a very popular Upanishad, not only in Jnana Kanda, but is also in Karma Kanda. Many times when you go to the temples, you will see these mantras being chanted, and they are very beautiful mantras, as you will see today. The hero of this Upanishad, or the entire Shaka, is Yajnavalika. Very famous. There are numerous stories about him, but a relevant story was that his guru was Vaishampayana, and the student was so brilliant that sometimes you have, when the teacher feels a little underconfident with a super brilliant student, and there was a quarrel once, and in the quarrel the teacher got upset and he said, whatever I have taught you, all the Vedas, I want you to bring it out. Now, Yajnavalika obeyed the teacher and brought it all out. But the teacher realized that Yajnavalika not only had digested the teaching that he had given it a new form, and he wanted all the other Rishi students who were not as brilliant as Yajnavalika to consume it, and he transformed them into birds called Tittiri. This is the story. And what we have from Yajnavalika is the Taittiriya Shaka. The 7th chapter begins Shiksham Vakshyamaha, and that's why it's called Sheekshavalli. The 8th chapter begins with Brahmavid Apnoti Param, that's why it's called Brahmavalli. The 9th chapter begins with the word Braguvai Varuni, that's why it's called Bhriguvalli. And the 10th chapter is called Narayana Valli, and it is a separate Upanishad called Mahanarayana Upanishad. To give you a brief introduction to Sheekshavalli, for various reasons, we are not going into this Upanishad in full detail like we go into the other Upanishads, as you will understand why. This Upanishad is not in poetry form, it is in a prose form. And Sheekshavalli is divided into 12 sections or anuvakas. Of these 12 sections, the first and the last are Shanti Patas. So therefore, we need to know about 10 of them. The Shanti Patas are of a little unique in this Upanishad, in the sense that there are different Shanti Patas for Sheekshavalli and for Brahmanandavalli. And in Sheekshavalli itself, the opening Shanti Pata, as you will hear today, because Venkatesh Prasad will be chanting and explaining, is a prayer. And the closing Shanti Pata, that is the last 12th Anuvaka, is a thanksgiving. The second chapter, the Anuvaka, is all about the skill of pronunciation. It begins with Shiksham Vakshyamaha. However, it is really complex. And if you want a very simple version, I would refer you to the wonderful YouTube videos by Swami Tadatmananda of the Arsha Bodha Center. And he will guide us very clearly how these Upanishadic mantras, the Veda mantras have to be chanted. The third Anuvaka deals with Karma Yoga and the famous Pancha Mahayajna. It comes from this Anuvaka. There are also various upasanas, but these upasanas are really difficult to follow. Swami Param says that they are more of academic interest and they can be replaced by Puranic Upanishads like Rama, Krishna, Devi, etc. Now, the rest of it is just to give you a peep into. Dr. Ravi Shankar will be speaking upon a wonderful mantra which all of us have to study by heart. It is Yas Chandasu Rishabho Vishwarupa, something about Omkara. Radha will be speaking about Homa Sadhana and about Avahanti Homa, how to become rich and why we should become rich and so on. Divakar gives a nice, has got two mantras. One is about Om and the second is about a regular order of life. Very beautiful set of mantras. Divakar, that is your brief. Dr. Ahalya will be speaking about the farewell to students. You must remember that in the Gurukula, students generally go by the age of 8 till the age of 10 or 12 years, they are with the Guru. And when they are leaving, there is a nice set of Upanishadic mantras that the teacher gives. Dr. Ahalya will elaborate on this. And then there are these famous mantras which says Matra Devo Bhava, Pitra Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atiti Devo Bhava. Dr. Rama Gopala Krishna will talk about it and I hope she's able to log in and join us for today's class. The final Anuvaka is a Thanksgiving, again by Venkatesh Prasad. I will ask you to chant this once again. With that, we open to Venkatesh. It is your time to tell us about the Shanti Pata.
Thank you, sir. Guru Bhyanama. Hegde sir has given the full introduction of Upanishads, where from that have been taken, as well as the Shanti Pata. As he has rightly said, the Taittiriya Upanishad Sheekshavalli has got a special Shanti mantra for itself. Now let me chant it first before going to the explanation. Om Shanno Mitra Shamvarunah Shanno Bhavat Varyama Shanna Indro Bruhaspati Shanno Vishnu Rukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Rutam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmam Avatu Tadvaktaram Avatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. In this Shanti mantra, student is praying for two things. One is Gnana Yogyata Prapti, eligibility to receive knowledge. To receive knowledge, all sense organs must be in fit condition. Karana Yogyata Prapti. In Tattva Bodha, we have seen 17 organs, 5 sense organs, Gnanendriya, 5 organs of action, Karmendriya, 5 physiological systems, Panchaprana, the mind and intellect. Some of these organs should cooperate by doing something and certain other organs by not doing anything. For example, at the time of Shravanam, sense organs should be active and not the organs of action. Each organ is presided over by a deity, Adhisthana Devata. Therefore, we invoke these devatas to keep the organs fit. Karana Yogyata Siddhyartham through Karana Yogyata Prarthana. The second prayer is for the removal of any obstacle in the application of organs. Pratibandhaka Nivrutti. Let there not be any obstacle related to myself, Adhyatmika, environmental, Adibhautika, and natural disasters, Adidaivika. And so, 7 presiding devatas are now invoked here. Mitraha. Mitra Devata presides over the exhalation, breath, pranaha, prag, gamanavan, vayu. Number 2, Varuna. Varuna presides over the inhalation, breath, apanaha, adho gamanavan, vayu. There is another meaning called evacuation, which also goes down. Meaning of this prayer to Mitra and Varuna. O Lord, when I am doing Shravanam, let my breathing continue unobstructed. Next is Aryama. Aryama is a Surya Devata who presides over Chakshu, eyes. May my eyes be in good condition. Indra next. Indra presides over arms and hands. I pray for strength. Brihaspati. Brihaspati represents intelligence and communication. Pray for ability to understand and communicate with appropriate question in appropriate manner. Next comes Vishnu Urukramaha. Vishnu Urukrama is the Lord of feet, Padayoho Vishnu. He gives capacity to move, do Guru Shushrusha, even to sit at one place for an hour, legs must cooperate. Urukrama represents Vishwa Vyapti Tattva. He is all pervasive. He is Ananta. He is Vishwa Vyapi. Vayu next. Vayu Brahma is Hiranyagarbha, who is total subtle body. Being subtle, he is not visible. He is available as Vayu, Samashti's prana, the air we breathe. Vayu, the Samashti prana, represents Hiranyagarbha, Samashti Sukshma Shariram. Next is Pratyaksham Brahmasi. Pratyaksham Brahmasi, in the form of total mind, Hiranyagarbha is imperceptible. Paroksha Devata. He becomes perceptible in the form of Vayu, Pratyaksha Devata, and can be experienced by the nostrils. Sham Bhavatu. Let all these Devatas be a source of auspiciousness, strength. This statement is added before all the above Devatas whom we prayed. No, Naha, for us. This prayer is for both student and teacher. Teacher's organ should also function properly. His memory should be clear and strong so that he remembers and communicates his Guru's teachings. Namo Brahmane. I offer prostration to all of them, especially to Hiranyagarbha, who is Samashti Devata and includes all other Devatas. Namaste Vayo. Hiranyagarbha. Total intellect knowledge is imperceptible but is symbolized here and experienceable Vayu, air. The life we worship all five elements of our Sandhya Vandanam, Agnihotra, and many other rituals, Agni, water, Antariksha, Prithvi, and all other directions. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi. You are the perceptible Pratyaksha God who is everywhere. I do not have to go to any special temple to see you. Each time I breathe, I am in contact with God. Is God required for living? Close your nostrils and mouth, then you will know. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami. I declare that you are available as Vayu, the Pratyaksha Brahma. I want to spread this word. Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Idi Vadishyami. Rutam Vadishyami, Satyam Vadishyami. I declare that you are Rutam and Satyam. Both these are synonymous, but when they occur together, we make subtle distinction between them. Rutam means living a life according to what I have learned. Yatha Gnanam Tatha Acharaha. There is no incongruence between my knowledge and my lifestyle. Rutam has one more meaning, ecological system of nature, without which our climate and environmental cycle gets upset. To have all seasons in place, always Ritam Tattva of Brahman should grace us. Satyam is proper knowledge acquired from scripture, Shastras. Hence, Satyam is right knowledge, Ritam is right action. You Hiranyagarbha Tattva and Samashti Tattva are embodiment of Satya and Ritam. Up to this point, prayer is for Yogyata Prapti. The word Sham, meaning source of auspiciousness, should be interpreted as Yogyata. Tanmam Avatu. May Hiranyagarbha protect me from obstacles, Pratibandhaka Nivrutti. Tad Bhaktaram Avatu. May the Lord keep my Guru also healthy. Bhaktaram means Guru. Pratibandhaka Nivrutti being very important, student offers this prayer once again for emphasis. Avatumam, protect me. Avatu Bhaktaram, protect my teacher. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Lord, remove threefold obstacles, Trivida Pratibandhakas, Adhyatmika from within, Adi Bhautika environmental, Adi Daivika natural disasters. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Venkatesh. A nice beginning with a very clear, this is something we've always been chanting very well. The tune is so nice. And now we know the meaning of each of the words that we keep chanting every time. With that, we go to Dr. Ravi Shankar. Very beautiful mantra. It is your time, sir.
Hari Om, sir. Just a little bit about the second Anuvak of Sheekshavalli before we go to the fourth one. It reads like this. Sheeksham Vyayakhyasya Varnaswaraha Matrabalam Samasantanaha Ityukta Sheeksha Adhyayaha. The entire Sheekshavalli is about the science of pronunciation. It's about alphabets, the varna, the swara, or what is the accent, the matra or the measure, the balam or the emphasis that is to be given, the sama or the uniformity of poise, and the santana, which is the conjunction. Shiksha is the first word, and so this is called as Sheekshavalli. Veda Parana is one of the best purifiers, and that is also dealt with in the Mundaka. Matra could be a short or a long or a very long plutam kind of explanation. Santanam is the combination of the words, and Swami Param very beautifully brings it out with this simple example. In the Guru Stotram, there is a shloka called as Akhanda Mandala Karam, Vyaptam Yena Characharam. There has to be a gap, he says. And there's another shloka where the entire line is a single word, Aneka Janma Samprapta Karma Bandha Vidhahine. So that's a complete word. So these nuances are explained as combinations in the Santana. Sandhi, Shanno Mitraha, is Sham plus Na plus Mitraha. And this is how the Sheekshavalli is taught by the Guru to the student. Adi Shankara says chanting gives punya, and this is a adrishtya phalam, and this gives rise to chitta shuddhi. Adhyayana of these shlokas is what is adrishta. But when we go into study of the Vedas by knowing this adhyayana, and we get into Veda Anta, that is what gives rise to Jnana phalam. Coming to the fourth Anuvaka of the Sheekshavalli, Yes Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha. Now this is how it has to be recited. Yes Chandasam Rishabho Vishwarupaha Chandobhyot Amrutam Sambabhuva Samendro Medhaya Asprunotu Amritasya Devadharano Bhuyasam Shariram Me Vicharshanam Jifva Me Madhumattama Karna Abhyam Bhuri Vishruvam Brahmana Koshosi Medhaya Pihitaha Shrutam Me Gopaya. So if you go into this beautiful verse, it starts as Yah, Yam, which means that. And that here is the Omkara. Of course, there's a lot to discuss about it, and Dr. Divakar will be doing a lot about it, but I think I have to touch a lot about Omkara also. Adisamba Bhuva, which means, which manifests by itself. Adisamba Bhuva comes in the second word, the second line. Amrita is eternal. Chandobhya means Vedas. Rushabha is the great bull. Chandasam is among the Veda mantras. Vishwarupa is endowed with manifold forms. Sa Indraha. So Indra is the Lord. Medhaya, intelligence. Sprunotu, please strengthen me. Deva, O Lord. Dharanam bhuyasam. May I be the enjoyer. Enjoyer of what? Not the worldly pleasures, but of Amritasya. And Amritasya here means the immortal wisdom. Shariram may my body, Vicharshanam, be healthy and strong. Jifva me madhumattama, may my tongue be sweet. Karnabhyam bhuri, with my ears, bhuri means repeatedly. Vishruvam, may I hear. Koshosi pihitam, Brahmanasya pihitam koshosi. So this is the abode, kosha. We are aware of the pancha koshas. So there is some covering for this Brahman. And Brahmanaha here means of the Brahman. Pihita is that which is wielded by. And Medhaya here, though it has been used with a different meaning in the first line, here it means worldly knowledge. Shrutam me gopaya. May whatever that I have heard be protected. May I remember what has been protected. So if I have to just quickly tell what each of these parts mean, the section on spiritual sadhana is the mantra japa, and this could be manas, vak, or kaika, and this japa is further added on to homa. So Prajapati Brahma, he extracted Omkara from the Vedas due to by intellectual churning, and he said he will give the Veda Sara. Gayatri Mantra, the Rig Veda, the Veda Sara is Tat Savitur Varenyam. From the Yajur Veda, he said Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. From Sama Veda, he said Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat, further crystallized it into Bhu Bhuva Swaha, and then further crystallized to A U Ma, which is Om. Omkara is what gives rise to Jnana Phalam. Omkara can be in different forms, and that's why the word Vishwarupaha. Amongst the cattle, the bull stands out, Vrishabha. Amongst the Devas, Indra stands out because of the strength and the Vrishabha there. Mundaka also gives, Mandukya Upanishad also talks about the Omkara. Omkara is Pranava, it's the universal language, it's known as Ik Omkar Satnam. Omkara is the bull of the Vedic hymn, the object of profound meditation. It is a quintessence of Vedas. The self of man is objectified for the purpose of worship with a pratika or a symbol, and that is Omkara. Medhaya is the capacity to absorb and retain. Chandas here could be different meanings. We have the Gayatri Chandas for Gayatri Mantra, the Anushut Chandas for the Rudra Prashna. But here, Chandas means pleasing. It also means protect from samsara. Indra is the bull among the Devas. Sprunoti is strengthen. And strengthen what? Not just the physical. Physical for titiksha. Verbal for communication, to ask questions and to comprehend. Hearing. Without that, Shravanam is impossible, which is the first step in Vedabhyasa. Intellect. It has to be sharp, subtle, and it should be cognitive till the cognitive exercise is done. Adi Shankara, Bhagavad Padra, he said, in the Panchayatana Puja, you must do Pita Puja and you must do Mantapa Puja before you do Bhagwan Puja. And exactly the same way, we have to do Omkara Puja or Omkara meditation before you reach Brahman. Amrita is the elixir of life. It's self-knowledge. That is what gives moksha prapti. Jifva is vak, vak shakti and vak indriya. It should be hitam, satyam, pleasing and never hurting. The emphasis very rightly here is on the tongue, hearing, speech, and all of them are about the knowledge of sound. And so for a student, this is the most important for Shravana. Now, Brahma Koshosi, this is like a sword in a scabbard. And exactly the same way, Omkara is a jewel box. And once you know Omkara, you almost know what is Brahman. Understand Omkara Vichara to understand Brahman. Medhaya Pihitam. Adi Shankara says the Medhaya word here in this particular context means Laukika Vichara. It is Anatma. It obstructs Vedanta Vichara. Through Omkara, through meditation, and through the Medha Shakti, we must go inwards, not extroverts. And we should be fit to wear the knowledge of Brahma Kosha, which means that the body has to be strong. It just doesn't mean the physical aspect. Adi Shankara says you must be strong enough in your mind to be able to wear the knowledge of Brahman and to know Brahman and to prevent the worldly knowledge of Pihitam. That has to be removed. And that's the need. The need is the intellectual activity. So there is a lot of intellectual activity up to a point. And up to that point, once Brahma Vidya is got, that intellectual activity is not required. So the seeker of Brahma Vidya needs to keep all the thoughts on the field of attention, which is that one pointedness Omkara, which gives rise to Amrita, immortality. And this is only possible through Veda Adhyayana. Gopaya means let me remember whatever I have learned. Omkara has of course been beautifully brought out in the Bhagavad Gita in four chapters, the 7th, 8th, 9th and the 17th. I would restrict the talk to this point up to this level. Hari Om, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Shankar. This is a very, very important mantra. You will hear it chanted in so many occasions, and you have done full justice and given us the meaning of every bit of this mantra, and also motivated us as students of Vedanta to be able to make this a regular prayer so that we have the full benefit of a Vedic prayer for our spiritual work. With that, we go to the next mantra in the same section, the 4th section. Radha, it is your time.
Hari Om.
Go ahead, please go ahead.
Avahanti vitanvana kurvana chiramatmanaha vasagum simamagavascha annapane cha sarvada ततो मे श्रियमावह लोमशां पशुभिः सह स्वाहा आमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा विमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा प्रमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा दमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा शमायन्तु ब्रह्मचारिणः स्वाहा. This is how the mantra goes. It is a mantra used in the homas. Avahanti is to inviting the devatas. When we say swaha is the word used for welcoming the devatas to come and take the offering that is made in the fire. Now, before we go to the mantra, I would speak a little bit about the importance of this mantra. The entire Taittiriya Upanishad is more stress on the importance of jnana. In this Upanishad, we get the Mahavakya, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. So before this prayer is meant for asking the God to give them wealth. So before any wealth can be handed over to anybody, what is the importance of jnana? In the earlier Anuvakas, the importance of jnana is discussed in detail. So what is this prayer all about? This is a very grand, if you see any invocation prayers in the Vedic culture, the prayers are universal, they are positive, and they are very grand. And they're so well articulated. The Vedic culture understands what is the needs and wants that we have. And I don't think personally we could ask for anything in a more better fashion than that has been shown in many of these mantras. Here, the necessity of wealth is very well established. Most of us think that in Vedic culture or when we come to the study of the Vedanta or whatever, we just have to refuse the wealth part of it, which is a very wrong notion that we have. We do not have a poverty consciousness. We are operating from a consciousness where all the basic needs have to be taken care of first, the food, clothing, shelter, which means the social security needs are so important. Only when the social security needs of an individual in a society are taken care of, then can he sit and contemplate about the jnana, about the Brahma Vidya, and pursue the higher interests in his life. So what is this knowledge? This knowledge is nothing but, let me remind that these are all the students who have gone to Gurukula to study for 12 years. When they are about 7 or 8, they are sent away to the Gurukula to learn for 12 years. So in this 12 years, they have to acquire the knowledge. And after this phase, they are going to get into the world, become the householders and start earning money. So when they earn money, when money is coming into their hands, they have to know what they want to do with the money. So in our Purusharthas, the first Purushartha is Dharma, and then only Artha comes. So everyone in the society is first taught about the importance of Dharma. Dharma is righteousness. Now what is this Dharma? Whenever this student passes out and he gets into the householder life, he has to do a lot of karmas, dharmika karmas. So, and all these karmas in the earlier chapters we discussed in Gita, that Krishna has elevated the karma to the level of yajna. When you elevate it to the level of yajna, you're doing it for the betterment of the society. So you have a higher objective in life. So what is this yajna? Is done to share the prosperity with everybody around. And in any yajna, there is a compulsory donation made at the end of the yajna. And in any yajna, people from all class, all creed, all gender, everybody comes together as a society and participates in the yajna. And there are huge donations made where we are taught also to part with our wealth. So when the student is rooted in a right knowledge of the dharma, and when the money comes to him, he starts earning, he knows how that money has to be earned through righteous means, and also has to be spent for the righteous pursuits, for the pursuit of dharma. Only then this wealth is supposed to be in the safe hands. And upasana, now that these verses are talking about upasana, what does upasana actually mean? If I have to put it in few words, is to expand an individual. We have two bodies. One is the body that we have, and one is the universal body, that is the Hiranyagarbha. Just like a body has cells inside, and each cell has got a body, if I may say so, because a cell also has got a cell wall and it has got a mitochondria. It is in a unit in itself. So there are so many cells in this body. Similarly, we are all the cells in this whole universe. So whenever there is a hunger in the body is fed. Whenever there is a disease, the medicines are given. All the needs and wants of these bodies and the cells in the body are taken care by the individual. Similarly, all our needs and wants as an individuals are taken care by the universe. So we are appealing to the universe to give me the wealth, to give me whatever I want. We are asking from the source. Now let me go to the words straight. Here I'll start from the word called tatha. Tatha means thereafter. Thereafter means what? After I have enough knowledge, right knowledge, as to how I want to, Sachin, I request you to give me 1 or 2 minutes more. Thereafter means after I have the right knowledge of how I want to spend my wealth, I want to get Shriyam, that is the wealth, be given to me. And avahanti, avahanti means you bring, please come to me. And vitanvana means expand, grow this wealth. Kurvanaha means preserve it. And chiram atmanaha means forever and for myself. So we are asking for a wealth which has to be given to me, which should grow, my wealth should grow, my wealth should be preserved, and it should be forever. And what kind of wealth we are asking about? Mama gavascha anna panecha sarvada. We are asking basically for the food, clothing and shelter, basic human needs. And these needs should be such that they should never get over, they should be always with me, they should grow, and they should be preserved by the Lord. And also we are asking about loma sham pashubihi. Give me such kind of cattle which has got lot of hair, probably like a goat or a sheep, which will give them wool to protect them in the colder climates. So we are asking for a lot of wealth so that my basic necessities as an individual in the society are taken care of, so that I move to the next level of my pursuit. Now again here he says, Amayantu means, please come to me, come to me. Amayantu, what we are asking? Amayantu brahmacharina swaha means give me brahmacharis. And who is this brahmachari? Typically in the Gurukula, we can say that it is the students, but now we can take it from our perspective also. Brahmachari is somebody who is committed to the pursuit of truth and given more importance to the truth, acquiring of truth, than anything else in life. Now, if you look at a Gurukula system, a child leaves all the family comforts, the loving family members and everybody, and enters into education at the age of 8. And after 12 years, only when he becomes a Ganapati or something, he leaves and starts living in the world. So during this time, he has to work really hard. There are no special rooms given to him. There is no preference given to him. And there are no aids of learning, no tools. Those days, they have to listen what the Guru is saying. And the Meda Shakti has to be so good that he has to retain the knowledge and reproduce whenever it is needed for him. So this kind of learning takes a lot of concentration and focus. So the student always has to be focused in his pursuit. And then he has to wash his clothes, he has to clean his place, he has to take the cattle for rearing, and he also has to help the Guru Patni in cooking or getting the firewood for her, and this kind, and they are totally disconnected from the outside world because the Guru does not want them to have any distractions when they are in this phase of life. So this applies to us also, that when we are in the pursuit of Upanishads and Brahma Jnana, we have to cut ourselves away from all the preoccupations of the world and give so much quality time to this pursuit. Then it says Vimayanti means, first it says bring me many students. And then he says Vimayanti Brahmacharina Swaham. V means many types, different types of students you bring. Usually in a class you find, even in study classes or even other classes, they're just going with one kind of regular motion. They are just studying and reproducing reproducing the verses and knowledge and all, but nothing extraordinary is happening. So when variety is introduced in classes, the guru asks to give me variety of students, because then there are interesting debates, discussions, and each student comes with a different perspective of knowledge. So the synergy in the class is so beautiful. And such kind of differently abled students, they act as catalysts to bring out a best performance of the entire group. The bar of the group is totally raised. When he says Pramayanta Brahmacharina Swaha means the brahmacharis who has got prajna, knowledge of one level, that kind of people you give me, different varieties and able, capable people. And Damayanta Brahmacharin. Dama is an opposite word of Mada. Mada, we all know, is when you are intoxicated with the sense pleasures. Opposite is Dama. Dama is any stimulus from the outside which should not disturb you. Should not disturb you. Just half a minute more. And Shama is the internal discipline. So, inner disturbances, outer disturbances should not disturb the student when he is in the pursuit of the knowledge. Now, why we have talked about I want wealth, I want cattle, I want Lakshmi. Now we are suddenly talking about the guru saying I want students. Now these students are still in the Gurukula. The guru is giving them a vision that when you go out, you also have to become a guru, and you have to get so many students, and you have to hold this knowledge and give this knowledge to the students, because you have a responsibility not only to learn, but to propagate and preserve this knowledge. Now, in my opinion, the greater wealth is the wealth of this knowledge. The Sanatana Dharma always thought, of course, they asked for money, cattle, wealth for a normal conducting of the life. But more than that, they said, I want students who can preserve this knowledge, because they considered this very knowledge itself as a bigger wealth. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Radha, for a nice chanting and explanation. We'll go to the next speaker, that is
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Let's chant this, let me chant this mantra. Om iti Brahma, Om iti Dagam Sarvam, Om ityetadankriti hasmava apyo shravayetya shravyanti, Om iti samani gayanti, Ogum shomiti shastrani shamsanti, Om ityadvaryuh pratigaram pratigrunati, Om iti Brahma prasauti, Om ityagnihotramanujānāti, Om iti Brahmanah pravakshannaha brahmopāpnavānīti, Brahmaivopāpnoti. This is the 8th Anuvaka of the Sheekshavalli in the Taittiriya Upanishad. This is also called as Pranavopasanam. We all know that Om is also called as Pranava. Pranava means the ideal name. Now, is it really the name? Is Om the name? Is it or is it the word, or is it just the letters? It is actually none of them. Om is the Nada Bindu. It is just the sacred sound. We learned from the verse 4 that that is the sacred sound which has come out after Brahmaji churned the whole Vedas, and that is the crystallized form. Now let us look at this particular verse. The first line says, Om iti Brahma, Om iti Gum Sarvam. Om iti Brahma means Om itself is Brahman. Now here, Upanishad is telling the student to meditate upon Om in order to reach Brahman. Here we are talking about Saguna Brahma, because as we know, Brahman itself is Nirguna. Om has some Saguna Akara to it. So actually, if you look at the Om, the syllable A, U, M, or in the English A-U-M forms the Saguna form, and the silence which comes after the forms the Nirguna form. So if you concentrate upon the silence part of it, it becomes Nirguna Nididhyasanam. or the Saguna part, Upasana, will be on the AUM. So here A represents the Sthula Sharira and our Jagrata Avastha. U represents the Sukshma Sharira and our Swapna Avastha, Sukshma Prapancha and Swapna Avastha. And the M represents the Karana Prapancha and our Susupti Avastha. So everything has to come within that. Om itigam sarvam. So everything that is created will have to come within the Om itself. That's what the second line is saying. If we move on to further kind of lines, Om is chanted before every Vedas. So it is saying Om ityeta anukruti hasmava. So anukruti means acceptance. When a senior priest tells the junior to start anything in terms of the yajnas or homas, he responds by saying Om. So Om is the acceptance. It is used as an acceptance. Om iti samane gayanti. Here the next 4 line talks about the 4 Vedas. So here a bit of a technical information is given. I'll just quickly touch upon this. So usually any yagnas, if they're performed, at least it was in the olden days, nowadays it's very difficult for people to follow all these things as clearly as it is mentioned. 18 people are required. That is 4 people for 4 Vedas and 2 people who are performing. These are the Yajamanas, a man and his wife, Grihastha, and then 4 people representing 4 Vedas. People who represents the Rigveda are called as Hotragana. There is one Hota who is the head of it, and then followed by 3 of his assistants. Rigveda involves all the mantras which glorifies or which calls the god. Most of the invocation mantras are from Rigveda. Most of the mantras are actually in Vedas or in Rigveda. It's the biggest repository of mantras, and these mantras are taken in Samaveda and Atharvana Veda. In the Yajurveda, the head of the Yajurveda priest is called as Advaryuhu. So it is called as Advaryugana. Yajurveda refers to oblations. Most of these karmas, yagnas are all come under Yajurveda. Samaveda head is called as Udgataha. It is the Udgata Gana. And their dhana is the most important aspect. And the head of the Atharvana Veda is Brahmagana. So here, Brahmagana, the Brahma. So we have heard of this. Sometimes in all the rituals, there's one person who will be seated as Brahma. He's supposed to supervise all the rituals which is taking place during that time. He should know all the Vedas and all the procedures there. If somebody is doing anything wrong, it is his duty to correct everything. So here we get 18 people. So that is what is mentioned in Samani Gayanti. So Gayanti, Samaveda is in musical form. So before that, Om is chanted. And then here, Shastra is not the weapon. Shastra refers to the Rigveda, and then Yajurveda in the next line. And then Om iti Brahma Prasauti, that is the Atharvana Veda. And then comes the next phase of the mantra. This is about the Agnihotra. This also refers to Vedic rituals. So here Swamiji elaborates a bit about the Vedic rituals. So there are something called as Smarta Shrauta karmas. So Anupasanam is one of the Smarta karma, and then Agnihotra is the Shrauta karma, which comes from the Shruti. This is supposed to be something that is performed within the 6 months after the marriage, and even for the initiation of this, Om is chanted. And the last one refers to the brahmacharis. It can also refer to us. So Om iti brahmanaha pravakshannaha. So pravakshan means the one who is seeking the Brahma Gnanam. He also he gets the permission after chanting Om itself. So when he does that, Brahmaivopa apnoti, so he repeats it 2 times, he will definitely attain or get the Brahman. Here we can also take it to our own self. Om is something that is very commonly kind of chanted. It features in almost every Upanishad, particularly elaborated in the Chandogya Upanishad and Mandukya Upanishad. So it is the significance of this particular verse. So should I proceed on to the next one, sir?
Proceed, please proceed.
Yeah. And the next one is the Swadhyaya Prashamsa. Swadhyaya Prashamsa is basically, now until now, we have had the Upasanas of the Taittiriya Upanishad. There were 5 Upasanas which were talked about. The first one was the Samhita Upasana. Second one was the Vyahriti Upasana. Bhuvaha, we have studied that. And the next one is the Hiranyagarbha Upasana, and then the Panta Upasana and Pranava Upasana. So after completing this, now we are coming to the karma part. Actually, the convocation address starts from here. 9, 10, and 11 is the convocation address. When the students are completely ready to go out, now the field is completely set. It is completely ripened. Now it is ready to be sowed in. The significance of following karma after upasana is that any action will follow the right attitude which is learnt through upasana. Only then that karma will become karma yoga. Otherwise, without upasana, without the right attitude, it becomes karma roga. So naturally, when somebody is working the same thing in the current world, if we keep on working on the same subject, people are getting more and more stressed. But Veda says, if you actually keep on working on the same thing, you should feel more and more liberated, more and more free. And that is possible only if you follow karma after upasana. So let's go through this Swadhyaya Prashamsa. It's a very beautiful verse, especially if it is chanted in a chorus. Rathancha swadhyayah pravachane satyancha swadhyayah pravachane tapascha swadhyayah pravachane dhamascha swadhyayah pravachane shamascha swadhyayah pravachane agnayascha swadhyayah pravachane अग्निहोत्रंच स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च अतिथयश्च स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च मानुष्यञ्च स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च प्रजा च स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च प्रजनश्च स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च प्रजातिश्च स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने च सत्यमिति सत्यवच राधिरतः तप इति तपो नित्यः पौरुषिष्टिः स्वाध्यायः प्रवचने एवेति नाको मौद्गल्यः तद्धि तपस्तद्धि तपः. So let's try and understand this particular mantra. Here we talked about the upasana part which is completed. There are 12 aspects which are described in this particular verse. The one thing which is commonly repeated is swadhyaya pravachanecha. So swadhyaya pravachanecha simply means do the self-study and then preach that. So if we analyze this properly, and Swamiji has beautifully explained this, so no matter how much time we take to explain, I don't think we can do the full justice to explaining all this. These things must be read thoroughly through the able guru. So swadhyaya is learning anything. Here it refers to scriptural learning. Learn through a able guru. Once you learn that, you have understood, you are following that yourself, and also you teach this. This is one of the most important thing that our culture talks about. Whatever you have, you got to share it. So we have read about aparigraha, so sharing all the material wealth, not hoarding anything with ourselves. How much ever we want, we can keep it. The rest of it, we need to share it with others. Same goes with the knowledge. The only good thing is that knowledge, how much ever you share it, yours will keep on getting increased. It's akshayaha. So swadhyaya pravachana also refers to dharma shastra. So whatever field we are studying in, it could be science, it could be engineering, whatever it is. Once we learn something, our shastras clearly mention that please share it with others and do it with free of cost, not by taking a lot of money. So rathancha swadhyaya pravachane. Ratham means that Venkatesh explained this beautifully. Ratham means in rhythm. So in rhythm with the Vedic life. So am I following my life in rhythm with that? Satyam means having no gap between my thoughts, my words, and my actions. Having a limited gap, that is a satyam. Tapaha is austerity. So austerity here we can two examples are given. One is the upavasa, and other is the mauna. There are many other things. These two things we can practice. The only test of whether we have learned any knowledge or whether I am in control of my senses or not is only through putting it into practice. Otherwise, it will just remain as a theory. Dhamaha means it's the sense controlling the external world, ability to handle all our impulses. Shamaha is the mind control that was explained by Radhaji. Agnayascha and Agnihotrancha. The first 5 are the values which are talked about. Agnayascha and Agnihotrancha, I explained this briefly in the previous mantra. This refers to the Deva Yajna. Pancha Mahayagnas are also covered here. So that is the karma part of it. Then the Atithayascha and then Manushancha. These two refers to Manushya Yajna. So Atithi Devo Bhava, we give a lot of respect to the Atithi. The one who comes without any invitation is the Atithi. So Manava Seve, Madhava Seve, so serving the people is the Manushya Yajna. Then Prajacha and then Prajanascha, Prajatischa refers to the Pitru Yajna. Here Vedas actually say that you can get married, you can have children, you can have grandchildren. All of this is again talking as the Shastra, and there are a lot of rituals associated with it. So the extraordinary thing is even the ordinary thing which happens in the mundane life is also converted into a yajna. So that is the beauty of this particular verse. And then the references are given, endorsements are given in the last 2 lines. So here we talked about Satyavacha. Satyavacha is the embodiment of the Satyam. So he is the son of the Ratitaraha, therefore he is Ratitaraha. And then son of Purushistihi, son of Purushistihi is the Taponitya. He is the embodiment of Tapaha. And then Swadhyaya Pravachana is embodied by Nakaha, who is the son of Mudgala. Now, basically, Tadditapaha, these 3 are the best tapas that one can follow and do it on an everyday basis is what this Upanishad is telling. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Divakar, for giving us a glimpse of the beauty of the Sheekshavalli and the nice mantras that they have. We now come to the graduation ceremony, what the Upanishad has to tell when students are graduating. Ahalya, it's your time.
Hello, namaste.
Namaste, go ahead.
Yeah. After the lucid explanation by all the previous speakers, which has brought out the depth of Taittiriya Upanishad, especially the Sheekshavalli, the 11th Anuvaka is a relatively simpler one. It's one of the most practical and relevant set of instructions which are found up to this date. We often hear of the convocational address, and as you were mentioning, sir, the first one is here. However, Acharya Shankara does not agree with this. He says these instructions are sandwiched between Vedadhyayana and Dharma Shastra, and this is not given at the end of Brahmacharyavastha, and so it may not be a graduating address. However, many scholars still opine that it is a farewell address because of the word Ante Vasinam that comes in this Anuvaka. So this actually is a summary of all that the previous speakers told, all the 10 Anuvakas before this. We have covered the 3 in detail here. And this contains the summary of Dharma Shastra of Jaimini, also known as the Purva Vedanta, which deals with the religious way of life, which is important to attain the Jnana Yogyata. That is the most important one here, especially Anuvaka 4 that mentioned about it. The process, as Swami Param says, is to adopt to this religious way of life first in family and then transcend it once the Jnana Yogyata is attained. With Dharma Purushartha alone, can Moksha Purushartha also be possible? Since Dharma Shastra consists of the preparatory disciplines, it must be studied before Vedanta in Brahmacharyavastha. The Acharyas felt that instilling this set of healthy attitudes and values in a young mind would help him cross over the burden of samsara as householder easily. So the theory is given in the Brahmacharyavastha and the practicals later in the Grihastha. So once a person gets strong in the sadhana chatushtaya sampatti, as the Grihastha progresses, he or she is no longer, the Grihastha becomes irrelevant. It's like taking the juice out of the sugar cane and the cane loses its value. So only so long as the runa is there, for which Swamiji quotes, Runanubandha Rupena Pashupatni Sutalaya Rinakshaye Kshayam Yanti Tatraka Parivedana. So Jnana Yogyata Prapti is what is important, and for that we need to follow these set of rules, is what he says. Vedam Anucha Acharyo Ante Vasinam Anushasti Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara Swadhyayanma Pramadaha Acharyaya Priyam Dhanam Ahritya Prajatantum Ma Vyavachetsi Satyam na pramaditavyam, dharman na pramaditavyam, kushalam na pramaditavyam, bhutyai na pramaditavyam, swadhyaya pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Most of these words we have already seen until now. Vedam anuchya. This is Veda Shabda here is only for Patayitva, that is only to learn it and not necessarily the meaning of it. The intonations, as Dr. Ravi Shankar was saying, has to be learned here. Acharya, Rama Madam will be talking about it. A guru who teaches as per the student's needs is an Acharya. Ante Vasinam, a resident student, one who is on the verge of leaving the ashrama or one who stays in close proximity to the guru. Anushasti instructs, Satyam Vada. We have already heard about Satyam, Ritam, etc. It could be Prama, Yathartha Jnana, Ritam. These are some of the words we find for Satya. Satya here stands for the integrity of Kaya, Vak, Manas, body, mind and speech, or the 17 tattvas that Venkatesh Prasad was talking about, the Pancha Jnanendriya and Karmendriya, which are held in place by Pratyahara, the Pancha Prana held in place by Asana, Manas by Pranayama, Buddhi by Dhyana. So Ashtanga Yoga is also brought in while he mentions Satyam Vada. Dharmam Chara. Dharma of two types. Again, we have heard it as Shrauta Dharma or Smartha Dharma. Shrauta Dharma comes from Shruti and Smartha Dharma comes from Smriti. So whatever is the Swadharma that we are ordained into, as per Desha and Kala, time and space, we need to follow that. Swadhyayat ma pramadaha. Pramadaha, I would put it as Kannadadalli idana vimukha anta karitivi, losing track of violating. So ma pramadaha, do not do it, do not go vimukha from Swadhyaya, which Dr. Devakar elaborated on. So never neglect the study of scriptures. It is mandatory. Shravanam and Mananam of scriptures is mandatory even for a Grihastha. Acharyaya priyam danam ahritya. The concept of Guru Dakshina, the Acharya Runa has to be fulfilled here, has to be offered. After a student completes his education, he goes out into the world in front of the king or the noble of his land. He recites whatever he has learned and there is a prize money that he gets. That prize money has to be offered to the Guru, who in turn would use this as the seed money for the next batch of students. And all this had to be done before he could settle down in Grihastha. So he had to do the Acharya, do away with the Acharya Rana before settling down into Grihastha. Post which, Prajatantum ma vyavachhetsi. This is a very important line that we need to remember. Tantum is lineage. The lineage should not be broken. The continuity of Kula Parampara family has to be made. In fact, both the eugenics and the epigenetics that we today talk about have been highlighted here through the Shodasha Samskara, Garbhadana, Pumsavana, Jatakarma, all these are mentioned here. So that needs to be kept in place. Satyamna Pramaditavyam. It is reiterating the values and attitudes for a Grihastha. Satya as per Vedanta is Brahma. Satya in Dharma Shastra in this context is speaking the truth. Dharmanna Pramaditavyam. Again, these are all reiterating to a Grihastha. Swadharma Paripalana. You may not deviate from your ordained religious duty. Kushalamna Pramaditavyam. Again, here Kushala is what we already saw in the Avahantum that Radha was mentioning. Do not neglect your own well-being, even like the way we hear on a flight, put on your mask before giving it to others. So in serving the society or family, never compromise on your own sadhana. Bhutyaina pramaditavyam. Bhuti is prosperity. Never neglect the acquisition of wealth. Earn without greed with the intention to do dana. Because all the three ashramas depend on Grihastha. In fact, the Avahanti Homa that Radha mentioned of the Taittiriya Upanishad, it is Danam Dharmartam, Dharmaha Chitta Shuddhyartam, Chitta Shuddhihi Jnanartam, Jnanam Mokshartam. Ultimately, whichever be the path, the destination still remains to be Atma Vidya Moksha. Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na Pramatitavyam. Scriptural study, which we just heard, is extremely important. The teaching-learning process is emphasized all through. Neither Vidya nor Dhanam should be stacked. It should not be kept unused. Both of them should be in movement, a parigraha, as Dr. Divakar mentioned. So these 10 postulates, beginning from Satyam Vada to Swadhyaya Pravachanapyam, have been covered for the Antevasanam, the person, a student who is leaving the Gurukula. This, the Guru and his wife together send the student equipped with this knowledge. So this is part 1 of the 11th Anuvaka. Namaste, sir.
Thank you, Halya. Very nice. Very enjoyable to listen to this. Rama, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Give us the concluding talk.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Deva Pitrukaryabhyam na pramaditavyam. In the earlier mantra, Shruti warned against the forgetting of what has been learned in the Gurukulam. In continuation of the convocation address, it is said, Deva Pitrukaryabhyam na pramaditavyam. Daiva Pitre Karmani Kartavye. Daiva Karyam is regular worship of gods or Ishvara is very essential. At Vesti level, one gets Chitta Shuddhi and prepares for Gnana Yogyata and Gnana Yogam. At Samasti level, a simple and deep universal prayer will reach everyone in the entire universe. Anything and everything must be offered to God. All the Shanti Patas of the Upanishads are for universal betterment and not for individual gain. Example, Shanno Mitra Shamvarunaha and Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, which we recite at the end of the session. Swami Param quotes a nice example from Bhagavatam, that is, to nourish a tree, pour water only to the root, even though you want to water every cell of the tree. Water reaches every cell in an invisible manner. Likewise, the universal prayers offered at the root called Ishvara for a tree of universe will reach the needy people. Pitrukaryam, worship of the ancestors by performing Tarpanam and Shraddha. Shraddha with Shraddha. We have no choice in this karmas. Thus, we must perform these karmas to attain Chitta Shuddhi and spiritual growth. Now the Upanishad discusses the attitude towards other beings in the society, that is Matru, Pita, Mata and etc. It is said in the mantra, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, Acharya Devo Bhava, Atithi Devo Bhava. This order has a particular meaning and cannot be changed. A child has an intimate relation and contact with the mother for the first 3 years. Later, from the 4th year to 14th year of age, it is the father and guru from the 5th year to the whole of his life. In this, gurus, the persons may change. It is the tattva behind this guru, mata, pita, and acharya, and atithi. We have to offer respect. Shankara Bhashya says, Matru Devo is Mata Devaha Yasya Saha Tvam Bhava. That is, for whom you be one, for whom mother is a god. Likewise, Pita is a god, Acharya and Atithi also. Devaha Yasya Saha Tvam Bhava. Ete Devatavat Upasyaha iti. May you invoke Ishvaraha in your Mata, Pita, Acharya and Atithi. Matru Devo Bhava. That is another fact about this Matru Deva Mata is, any sannyasi cannot be worshipped by his Purvashrama mother, including his father. All others can worship him. The sacrifices done by the mother is so valuable. A child wished that God should be with him always, and he should not go to anybody else. So it is said, then God created mothers, filled their heart with lots of love and affection, and then he created mother. Then comes Pitru Devo Bhava. May you develop a reverential attitude towards your father for his sincerity in bringing up the child. Next comes Acharya Devo Bhava. Acharya means achinoti shastrani. That is, he follows the shastra in every aspect. That is Shamadamadi. He is a living example for the students. Initially, the relationship with the parents, a child develops a healthy mind, and later with the guru. These relations are responsible for whatever we are today. They have molded us. Na guror adhikam. That is a price. That is the higher value of the guru explained. Atithi devo bhava. Na vidyate tithihi yasya saha. He is an atithi. Swami Param says, Atithi is an absolute stranger, lands without prior appointment or announcement, and he will stay for a short time. Na vidyate dvitiya titihi. That means he will not be seen on the second tithi, that is the day. Swami Param says, Atithi Devo Bhava is only for Vedic society and is not for the present one. Yan yanavadyani karmani, yani aninditani karmani. Aninditani karmani means shishtachara kartavyani. Here the Guru says the three sources of knowledge for Dharma Shastra, they are Shruti, Smruti and Shishtacharaha. While following a ritual or a Dharmacharaha, if Shruti, Smruti are not accessible, one has to seek Shishtacharaha. All these ideas are folded in this mantra. Anavadyani is Dharma aviruddha karyani. Those karmas which are not reproached or faulted by the society. Guru says, having learned Shastras from him, they should rely more on Shastras. No itarani. We should not use Mahatmas. We should not use as a Mahatma role models for wrong actions. Swami Param says, do as Rama did, but act as Krishna said. Dharma aviruddha kamosmi iti Sri Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. Yani asmakam sucharitani tani tvaya upasyani no itarani. Asmakam refers to all the fellow teachers or the teacher community. Shobhanani charitani is sucharitani. In the karmas done in accordance with the Shruti. Upasyani is adrushtarthani niyamena anushteyani. You should diligently follow only the positive actions of the elders or the gurus. No itarani. Dharma viruddha action should not be followed, even though it is done by your own teachers. If you see dharma viruddha actions, follow the Veda or the Shastras. And then the teacher is daringly telling that he can reject himself. That is it. The first of in this mantra, it addresses on ethics, values, Panchamahayagnas, and never be neglected, that are not to be neglected, persons worthy of worship, and how far to observe Vedic prescriptions and orthodox customs. By doing this Devakarya, Pitrukarya and all, one can pay back the Rushi Runa, Deva Runa and Manusha Runa, and also go through, he can conduct Panchamahayagnas. Hari Om. Sir, if you give me 2 minutes, I want to tell the 6 indicators of a Shastra. This is a general thing.
We have gone out of time, madam. It's too late.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. That's why I have prepared two types, one short and one long. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Hari
you
Om.
very much. Thank you for a nice. We'll conclude with a Thanksgiving Shanti Pata. Venkatesh, can we conclude?
Thank you, sir. Dear friends, we started the program around 7 o'clock. We were praying. We have prayed all the Adhisthana Devatas and Brahman to give us energy, to give us health, to keep us in good condition, fit condition, to run through the class and learn Sheekshavalli. We have successfully learned Sheekshavalli. For example, we had in between a lot of minor problems. In fact, Rama Madam was having difficulty in joining, but she could come in time and give her presentation. So let us thank the Adhisthana Devatas and Brahman now. This is Shanno Mitra Shamvarunah Shanno Bhavat Varyama Shanna Indro Bruhaspatihi Shanno Vishnurukramah Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मवादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत् आवीन्माम् आवीत् भक्तारम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ओम्